Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'll try to keep this one as short as possible. Wanted to talk today a little bit more about Egypt, and specifically about the digitalization of the government that's currently, everyone's like hyping about it and being like, oh, this is the best thing that's ever going to happen. I have my things against it. Okay, so the good thing about it is that it will bypass the bureaucracy of human to human. At least in theory, that is what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to give you that little bit of that little bit of happiness that you get from not having to deal with the nuances of having to stay for a very long time, losing an entire day, maybe two, maybe a week over just sitting down there and trying to get your right as a citizen to be done. Whether that be your, especially when it comes to driver's license. Driver's license in Egypt is a nightmare. Literally, if you're in Egypt and you have to do your driver's license, especially a car's license, don't book a day. Like if you have work, just take it off, because you're not gonna make it. You'll be lucky if you make it on the same day. That's if you're lucky. So that's the case with this one. Now, it got digitalized, and with the other one that got digitalized was the first one that got digitalized, and the first one that I had an interaction with, which is why I'm very skeptical about the digitalization, is the equivalency, the certificate equivalency, or the educational certificate equivalency. And that is that in order to get your ID and have it say that you are graduated with masters, you're supposed to have an equivalent of what is that master's equivalent to in Egypt, and it is a pain in the ass. Excuse my language, but it is. I've been trying to do it for 6 years now. I have failed miserably to the point where I just gave up. I was like, screw it. I'll be put in currently my ID has it to where it's like, it shows that I don't have an education, and I'm like, whatever, I don't care. I'm that fed up. I'm that fed up. It's just because the last thing was like, oh, you can do it digitally, and I was like, oh great, I can do it digitally, and I was like so happy that I could do it digitally, and I don't have to deal with like the nuances. And basically it was just the same thing. It was the same problems. That was here as was there. First of all, Egypt does not believe in interdisciplinary. That's my problem with my equivalency. Like other ones, they had it like very fast, and they could get it very fast, which is awesome. Mine, because it's interdisciplinary, so it is more nuanced than I could believe. So, and they still don't have interdisciplinary, so they still don't believe in interdisciplinary. I have to wait until they change that. Anyways, so yeah, that's basically it. So if that's the case with like the equivalency, with the educational equivalency, I shudder to think about what's going to happen with the other ones. Oh, also I tried to get the divorce certificate from online, went through everything else, and then finally in the end there was a problem with like the address, because the address did not match up with their address, and I was like, how? If I just finished, renewed my ID to where the new address is. Oh, and like, don't even get me started with the kids one. The kids one is hysterically ridiculous. It's literally hilariously ridiculous. My daughter, in Arabic, her name got spelled the same way that Layla. Her name is Lily, so she got spelled Layla. And for me to do the change from Layla to Lily, which it's her name. Her name is Lily, and it's stated in her passport. It's Lily. She has a different passport. She doesn't have an Egyptian passport. She has a different passport. So it's stated in there that it's Lily. I mean, everything is so, it's Lily. But no, we have to wait for we had to do the whole thing for 5 months, just running around like a headless chicken just to get it done. And finally, in the end, honestly, I appreciate what her biological dad did. Her biological dad basically was in a different country and literally just traveled just to get things done, and we got it done. And then gave me which is another thing in Egypt I'm going to talk about in a different way. He gave me the okay to just deal with everything else, and I wholeheartedly believe in him doing that, because it is a pain in the ass to deal with government things in here. So yeah, that's basically it. So am I happy that there is a digitalization? Yes. Do I think it's gonna work? I don't think so. I really don't think so anymore. I reached a point with Egypt that I strongly believe that it's gonna take a lot to change what's going to happen. It's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take a lot of, and it requires somebody who really loves the country. I mean, loves the country for the country, not loves the country because they can benefit out of, and just is willing to take on tycoons and willing to take on other people. If that person exists, and that person actually takes that initiative, the country might get better. Might, and I say might because that mentality has been seeping through the country for ages on end, to the point where I find it hard to believe that it's going to change. And it's really sad to just acknowledge that, there is no hope. I mean, the one hope that we got, which was we had female ministries, and even that didn't last. So I hope everything goes better. Honestly, I hope the best for the country. I hope the best that this country will rise above. I mean, we've done it in ancient times. We've done it over and over again. We've been conquered so many times, and every single time we've risen above that challenge, and we've done better. We've done great. And yet, for some odd reason, for the last 60 years, for the last, I don't know, 40 years, 50 years, we're just meh. And it's getting worse. It's just getting worse. I don't know. I don't see a stream of hope. I know it's controversial saying that, but I just don't see anything going on. I mean, I still stand by my advice, is that if you're an Egyptian and you're outside of the country, don't come back. Stay outside. Unless you absolutely have to come back, then sure, come back. But other than that, this ain't home. I'm sad to say it, but this ain't home. It ain't home. It ain't our. There's a lot of good things about Egypt, but then it kind of gets ruined with the people. And specific bad apples that are in power. Whether it's a bad apple in work, whether it's a bad apple in a government area, whether it's a bad apple in this one, it's just, they ruin it. They ruin it for the rest of the people. And no matter how things could look like, as long as the rotten apples are in power, it ain't gonna change. I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think of a positive thing to say, or end it on a positive note, but, well, the positive note is okay, so the positive note that I can end with is the fact that the youth, our children, are advocates since young age. They've learned to be advocates. They've learned to not sit down and do anything, and they learn to just to not take it. So that's the good thing about it. Anyways, bye bye.